Welcome to the Viridian Wild. Before we send you out on your expedition, please be aware that this production depicts the reality of the natural world around us and will contain materials such as eating habits, mating habits, and animal death. Specific content warnings can be found in the show notes. Read the transcript of the episode if something is troubling for you. Listener discretion is advised. Crazy thing about humanity is that we still believe we have discovered all that there is to discover on Earth and that the next frontier is just beyond the stars. I mean, we're still discovering new places and species. While we've managed to map out most of the world, we still have yet to scratch the surface of one location, the ocean. While the ocean makes up 71% of the Earth's surface, humanity has only managed to explore 5% of the sea. Or so that's what the internet says. Down in the ocean deep, we still have an approximate 95% left to explore. And you know what the crazy part is? That's without the site. There's a whole other ocean no one has dared venture into. An ocean filled with creatures we have heard of in stories for centuries. I mean, hell, I'm still trying to navigate what is actually myth or legend and what is actually real. So far, many of the Fae I've met are more entertained by the idea of keeping me in the dark for fun than sitting down with me in a mythology book to point out just what is real and what isn't. Today I'm heading out to document the migration pattern of the northern Mer people. We are out in the middle of the Long Island Sound on their way to meet Sand, a mermaid who has agreed to let us track their movements with a satellite beacon built within the bracelet. I'm hoping that they won't mind. It's just a giant hunk of plastic strapped down by Velcro, but here we go. Hey, slow down a sec. Do you see that?
No.
Oh, right. Sorry. Hold on. I need to move my phone to see if I can capture these sounds.
What are we looking at?
Hippocampi. Here. Remember how they use the sight stone?
You look through the hole in the middle. Oh, shit. Wow.
We've just spotted a herd of New England hippocampi, first documented in the Mediterranean as the creations of Poseidon, the Greek god of the ocean and a patron of horses. They were said to pull his chariot. In fact, Poseidon's relationship with horses was so strong that sailors would sacrifice horses to him in return for a safe voyage. In Greek mythology, there were two origins of the creation of the horse. The first was a dispute between Poseidon and Athena over who would become the godly patron of Athens. In one telling of the myth, Poseidon plunges his trident into the ground and out pops a spring of salt water. In the other, Poseidon creates the horse. No matter how the myth is told, Athena presents Athens with the olive tree and wins their patronage. Another origin of the horse is that Poseidon fell in love with Demeter, the Greek goddess of agriculture, and asked her how to win her favor. Demeter had absolutely no desire to get married to Poseidon, so she cooked up a plan to get rid of him. She asked him to build the most beautiful animal on Earth, and so he attempted to do so. While building what would become the horse, he made several test animals. One of those test subjects would later become the hippocampus, the seahorse. Not the cute, tiny seahorse we know, but a seahorse. In fact, the word hippocampus is derived from the Greek word hippos, meaning horse, and campos, meaning sea monster. By the time Poseidon created the horse, he had forgotten entirely about Demeter. Demeter's such an intelligent badass for thinking up that scheme. It reminds me of the time I asked a guy to get me a drink and I ran away into another bar. Please don't judge.
Glad you didn't pull that on me.
Alright, back to the hippocampi. The New England hippocampi grow up to 10 feet in height and up to 3,000 pounds. If you took a horse, gave it a mermaid tail, and put fins where his front legs would be, this is what a hippocampus would look like. The New England hippocampus has gray and jet black scales over his body and a large dorsal fin running down his back. The gray and black scales transition into an electric blue and black, something that has a dazzling effect in person. The average hippocampus will live between 25 and 30 years, giving birth to at least 15 children over the course of their lifetime. Like their far-off relative the seahorse, the female of the species lays their egg within the male, and the male gives birth to a foal a year later. The foal is alive when it is born. The advantage of that being that the foal is then old enough to keep up with the migration pattern of the hippocampus and is able to not be susceptible to predators. Just like dolphins, they travel in pods over great distances. The New England hippocampus will travel down from New England to Florida. Hippocampi are herbivores and fall prey to killer whales, sharks, and leviathans.
What?
As well as other predatory species. Hippocampi, like dolphins, have a long history of helping sailors in shipwrecks, as well as other animals in distress. I cannot imagine how cool it would be to be able to ride a hippocampus. Many sea fae make use of the hippocampi, as well as other large sea creatures, because of their intelligence. They appear to show a great level of independent choice as an animal. As in the wild, they have been seen playing with each other as well as other species. We'll allow for them to move on so that way we can catch up with the northern migration and drop off the bracelet with sand. Okay, I think they're far enough away now. I think it's alright to start up the engine again.
Yeah, sure. How common are those? The hippos?
I'm not sure. We've never gotten the chance to figure that out.
Right.
We're moving to a specific point of the Long Island Sound I believe is for the mer people to stock up on supplies and gather before heading south. Our presence has been approved by their leaders. The northern mer people have a matriarchal system with often the eldest member of the family taking responsibility for the group. In large collections of mer people, there are multiple leaders making decisions. In this case, we will be meeting with a group of 5 different families all traveling together south to Florida. The northern mer people live near Greenland, traveling back during the warmer months. It's August now, so they'll be making their way down the Atlantic coast. The average lifespan of the mer person is approximately 40 to 50 years, remaining active over the course of their lifetime. They are omnivores, but their diet is mainly composed of fish and shellfish from what I can tell is left behind. Much of their way of life is still a mystery to me and to others in the field, despite their large presence in the Fae world and in folklore. I would really like to one day study their social habits and impact on the environment around them for a longer period of time. One I would be particularly interested in seeing would be their funerary practices. Being nomadic in nature, I am curious to see as to what funerary practices they perform while traveling, if they have funerals at all.
That lighthouse the place?
Yeah, that's right. Bring down the speed of the boat as much as you can. I presume the location was chosen due to being a visual landmark, and that their migrational directions are based through such choices as well as celestial navigation. It's only my 6th time meeting them in person, and I didn't see a star chart or what I could make out to be an astrolabe of some sort. I'm presuming that they would actually have a navigator who has memorized the location of stars in order to guide the groups in their travels. Or they just navigate based on instinct alone. It's very hard to tell. Just like whales, when traveling in pods, mer people communicate and socialize through clicks, whistles, and pulsed calls. We communicate with them in sign language, taught to them by Dr. Bryant.
And this is it?
Yeah, they're all about 15 feet away from us. It's a group of 20.
So, those are mermaids. Actually real mermaids.
I mean, technically there are a bunch of species that would fall under that idea of what we could call a mermaid. Don't look at me like that. Yes, these are the northern mer people. Okay. Since you can't see what we're looking at, the northern mer people are mammalian and need to come up for air in order to breathe. They have no scales, their skin being like whales or dolphins. The northern mer people have a pattern similar to that of the killer whale or the hourglass dolphin, with black skin on the dorsal side, or their back, and white skin on their ventral, the front side. Hey, they've noticed us. Flynn, do you mind taking a step back? I don't know how they'd react to me being with someone.
Oh, yeah, sure. Didn't take them for the jealous type.
Haha. Oh good, Sam's coming first. Hi. Is this for, me? Thank you, Sand. Sand has given me a bag of what appears to be made of leather. Well, funnily enough, there are several human items in here, with modifications. There's a doll, hair shaven, and with a tail that is like that of a mer person. The bag also has a comb made of bone, jewelry made from both natural and man-made materials, and some art. I'm gonna leave that with you, Flynn. And a stone carving of is this me? Thank you, Sand.
That's really sweet.
No, oh, Flynn, give me a sec. This photos of me and him. He's with me. Hey, Flynn, come here. Slowly, please.
Okay.
Now, wave. Okay. Now, hold out your hand.
Hello. It's nice to meet you. Wow, her hand's so smooth.
She's studying you. Oh, yeah. His hair is different. I'm gonna give her a watertight box with straps attached. Flynn drew portraits of the mer people from the pictures I showed him.
Oh, tell them how you did that.
By taping a sight stone to an iPhone. I haven't managed to find a sight stone large enough to go over a camera lens just yet.
I also included art supplies. I think they'll like that.
I haven't seen if mer people prefer to make art above water or below. I'm going to presume that they have knowledge to do both, but given that they need air to breathe, it's possible they will do so closer to land and to the surface. Alright, here's the bracelet.
She knows?
Dr. Bryant explained. Alright, here you go. Yeah, nice to, see you again.
Nice to meet you too.
I'll call Dr. Bryant in South Carolina that the bracelet has been given to them. We both should have the information about their route as long as the bracelet stays with them.
Hey, look. They're all waving goodbye to us.
Yeah, they are. The Viridian Wild is created, written, and produced by Davis Walden, with creative consulting by Nicole Miller. Our music is composed by Daryl Banner. This episode features the voice of Davis Walden as Sebastian.
And Kyle Nishimura as Flynn.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Viridian Wild, or email us at theviridianwild@gmail.com. Learn more and find transcripts of this episode at theviridianwild.com. We would like to thank our first adventurers joining us on this journey, Joe and Mandy Walden. You can support Sebastian's study of the magical world around us on their Patreon at www.patreon.com/theviridianwild and gain access to bonus materials such as bloopers and book recommendations. The Viridian Wild is a product of Always in My Head Productions. Marine biologist Dr. Azalea Bryant has dubbed the northern mer people with the scientific name Hydria borealis, while the only other confirmed species in the Caribbean is dubbed Hydria caribea. Till next time, happy trails.